Namaste, and thank you for joining me here today. Let's let the flow of this little river remind us of the ever-changing state of the world around us. We embrace that ever-changing state and practice non-attachment by quieting the mind and staying present in the body. I'm going to start seated on my knees. Please join me there when you're ready and take a moment just to drop in. Deepening the breath and becoming present and aware in your body. If you're not sure what that means or how to do that, start by centering yourself on the senses. What do you hear? What do you feel today? What do you smell? What do you taste? And then quiet the mind. Open up the palms. And we'll start with some gentle neck rotations, drawing small circles in one direction or the other. Maybe widening those circles, just letting the body guide you. Start to receive the signals that it's sending you today. Explore within your body, notice what you feel, and remember, maintain that positive inner dialogue. Maybe set an intention for this practice. Maybe start to think about an affirmation or an intention for this practice and this day. We're going to slowly move into some shoulder rotations, squeezing the shoulders up toward the ears on your inhale, pressing the scapula together and releasing on your exhale. Find what feels good. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, open up the arms left to right, nice and wide. Send the right arm under the left, wrapping them all the way around. Use your fingers to walk them in closer together. And on your next exhale, melt forward. Relax the head and neck. Turning inward, noticing what you feel. Breathe deep. When you're ready, curl up, open the arms, expanding through the chest, and we'll do the same thing with opposite arm underneath. Deep breath, and on your exhale, melt downward, turn inward. Let your own embrace remind you that it is a privilege to inhabit this body. Stay grounded and practice gratitude. Take one more deep breath and slowly rise up. Open up the arms nice and wide. Interlace the fingers behind the back and draw them downward toward the ground, opening up through the chest. Breathing deeply, remaining present, noticing what you feel. And when you release, we're going to do a little twist, twisting to one side and the other, using that arm behind you to guide you. Just opening up through the chest. Maybe find some micro movement in the head and neck if it feels good. We're going to do this on both sides, so feel free to explore. Change sides when you're ready. And when you got what you need there, we'll come back through center, Come down to all fours or tabletop position on your mat. And we'll start with a little cat-cow, dropping the belly, opening up through the chest, and on your exhale, pressing away from the yoga mat, moving through that spinal flexion and extension with the breath. Stretching through the midline on your inhale, opening up through the chest, breathing deep. And when you're ready, we'll come back to tabletop, and then we're going to kick that right leg up, heel toward the sky. Same thing, follow that cat-cow motion. On your exhale, draw the knee in toward the chest, squeezing and lifting. Inhale, kick the heel up, sync up with your breath. We'll move through this a few times. And then next time your foot is up, you're going to reach back with your left hand, grab that foot, press up and away from the body, tiger pose. Slowly, mindfully release. When you're ready, we'll do the same thing on the other side, kicking that heel up, drawing that knee inward, following that cat-cow motion, moving through that with the breath a few times. And then next time that heel goes up, reach back with that right hand, grab your foot, press up and away, really stretching. Stay synced up with the breath. And then slowly, mindfully release, coming back through to tabletop, and then downward facing dog. As always, pedal through the feet if it feels good for your first downward dog of the day. Start to notice what you feel in the hips. And then when you're ready, we're going to plant that left foot, kick that right leg up high for three-legged dog. Lift the gaze, draw that right knee to the right elbow, kick it back up. Right knee goes to left elbow. One more time, kick it back up. Lift the gaze again, and then you're going to bring that foot all the way up and through to frame it with your hands. Leading with the fingertips, come all the way up to a high lunge, and then open up to the left for a warrior two. From there, drop that left hand to the back of the left thigh, reaching up and over with the right arm, peaceful warrior. And then all the way back down to frame that right foot. Drop the left knee to the mat, open up for an easy twist on the right. And then bring that right hand back down to frame that right foot. We'll roll back through that heel for your half splits, reaching full extension or close to it in that right knee. Hands stay pretty close to in line with that right heel. Breathe into that. And then roll back through, frame that foot, send it back for plank, slowly lower to the belly and press up to your first cobra of the day. Melt it back down to the mat, press up to plank, and back to downward facing dog. We'll do the same sequence on the other side. First pedal through the feet. And you're going to plant that right foot, kick that left leg up really high, really reaching. Draw that knee into left elbow, back up to three-legged dog. Draw that knee into right elbow, back up to three-legged dog. And then lifting the gaze, squeeze and lift. Plant that foot at the top edge of your mat, leading with the fingertips into your high lunge, and then opening up for your warrior two. Drop that right hand to the back of the thigh. Left hand comes up and over, peaceful warrior. Bring it all the way back down to frame that left foot. Open up to the left for your easy twist. Right knee is on the mat. Frame that left foot again and roll back through that heel for your half splits. Breathe deep into that. Positive inner dialogue. Roll back through that heel, lift that back knee, send the left leg back to plank, slowly lower to cobra, pressing up, finding that little back bend, lower back down, press up to plank, and send the hips up high and back for downward dog. Take a second here in stillness or pedal through the feet if it feels good. Lift the gaze and walk all the way up to the top edge of your mat, feet hip width apart. We're going to find our standing forward fold and just sway gently left to right. Maybe clasp opposite elbows with your hands. Maybe find stillness, wrapping the arms around the legs. Listen to your body. And then when you're ready, we'll release the hands down to the mat, slowly roll up all the way up to standing. Palms come together overhead, and then lower them to the heart space. Close your eyes if it feels good. Take a second just to listen and breathe. And then release the hands, coming back down to your forward fold. This time, halfway lift, palms together at the heart, nice flat back. Release when you're ready. Plant the palms, send the left foot back, then the right. Slowly lower to the belly. Press up to your cobra. Make sure you relax through the glutes. Lower back down. Press up to plank. And once again, meeting in downward dog. This next part is optional, but I like to sink my weight into one hand and use the other hand. Bring it to the outside edge of that opposite calf. Just looking underneath the armpit for a deeper stretch through the hamstrings and calf. You can just stay in downward dog if you don't like this pose. Release when you're ready. Once again, we'll plant that left foot, kick the right leg up high, three-legged dog, really reaching, and then drop that heel toward the opposite shoulder, opening up through the hip, and bring that knee all the way up and through. Sole of the foot comes to the mat, leading with the fingertips into your high lunge, opening up to the left, warrior two, dropping that left hand to the back of the thigh, right hand comes up and over for a peaceful warrior. And this time we'll interlace behind the back, draw the palms down and away, and then reach the forehead down toward the inside edge of that right leg, lifting your interlaced fingers up and away from the body. This is humble warrior. Get nice and low. Keep that right leg nice and bent. Release the hands, frame that right foot. Send it back to plank. Slowly lower to the belly. Find your cobra, or maybe king cobra this time. A little bit wider with the hands. Melt it back down. Press up to plank. And you guessed it, downward dog. From your downward dog, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Kick that left leg up high, bend that left knee, drop the heel toward that right shoulder. Bring that knee all the way up and through. Plant that foot near the top edge of your mat. Leading with the fingertips all the way up and overhead, and then opening up to your warrior two. Drop that right hand to the back of the thigh, all the way up and over with the left for your peaceful warrior, and then interlace behind the back, opening up through the chest, melting forward to the inside edge of that left thigh, lifting the palms up and away, getting low, keeping that left leg nice and bent. Release the hands, frame that left foot, send it back for plank, slowly lower to the belly, maybe halfway hold, building strength, press up to cobra. Melt it back down, press up to plank, and downward facing dog. Take a second to catch your breath or pedal through the feet, and then once again, we'll plant that left foot, and we'll kick that right leg up high, really reaching, opening up through the hip, dropping that heel toward the opposite shoulder, bringing that knee all the way up and through to the top edge of your mat. Once again, leading with the fingertips up to your high lunge, opening up to warrior two on the left side. This time from your strong warrior two, we will move into peaceful warrior and then straighten through that right knee. Level the arms to be parallel with the ground, send the torso slightly forward, and then bring that right hand to the inside edge of the right leg, using abdominal strength. not collapsing here. Left hand is up toward the sky. And then bring that left hand back down to the mat, frame that right foot, and then move that left foot right behind the right foot, about halfway up the mat, melting down the head and neck, holding here, keeping the heels planted. Then we'll bring that left foot back in line with the right, hip width apart with the feet. You're back in your forward fold. Another halfway lift, palms come together at the heart. Melt it down. This time roll all the way up to standing. Palms come together overhead. And then bring them down through the heart space. Tuck the chin, close your eyes if it feels good, and take a deep breath. Remembering that positive inner dialogue, we will release the hands, coming back down to the mat. Send the right foot back and the left. Slowly lower to the belly, maybe hold halfway. Press up to cobra. Melt it back down. And send it up to plank, followed by downward dog. When you're ready, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Plant that right foot, kick the left leg up high, bend that left knee, drop the heel toward the shoulder, and then bring it all the way up and through. Frame that left foot, leading with the fingertips into your high lunge, opening up to warrior two, sending it back, peaceful warrior, straightening through that leg, recentering yourself, using abdominal strength to bring that left hand to the inside edge of the left leg, sending right hand up toward the sky, staying open through the chest, not collapsing in the spine. Shift your gaze toward your foot, bring your hands back down to frame it. Walk that back foot up about halfway, right in line behind the front foot. Take a deep breath, relax the head and neck. Both heels staying glued to the mat, and then bring them up. Feet are hip width apart, standing forward fold, halfway lift, maybe this time airplane arms, send them back behind you, melt it back down, fingertips trace along the body, all the way up, palms come together overhead, and back down to the heart space. Namaste. Take another deep breath here, and then when you're ready, we'll release the hands and send them all the way up overhead while sending the hips back, bending deeply at the knees for your chair pose. Hold for a second, then bring the hips to the mat, keeping the hands lifted. Center yourself there, and we will come to lying. Take a moment here just to catch your breath, get grounded, maybe open up the palms toward the sky, notice what you're feeling. And then from here, we'll draw that right knee in, shift the hips to the right, use the left hand to gently guide that right knee toward the earth and across the body. Open up that right arm to the right as your anchor, and breathe deep into this torso twist and glute stretch. Remember your intention for this practice and your day as we cool down here. Yes, that's an airplane overhead. Apologies for that. When you're ready, we're going to gently, mindfully release that right knee, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Shift your hips to the left edge of your mat. Bring in that leg. Use the opposite hand to guide your knee toward the ground, finding that torso twist and glute stretch. Left arm is open up to the left, or maybe bent at 90 degrees, whatever makes you feel stable. Sync up with your breath. Positive inner dialogue. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, you can slowly, gently, mindfully release that knee, coming back to center. We're going to bend both knees, soles of the feet come to the mat. Lift that right heel, cross that right ankle over the left knee, and just gently press into that right knee, opening up through that right hip. When that feels good, we're going to kick up the left heel, interlace the fingers behind that left thigh, maybe extending that left leg all the way up. Or you can bend that left leg and interlace the fingertips in front of the left shin. Use that right elbow to press into the right thigh, drawing that left knee in closer. Breathe deep. And when you're ready, release that, unravel, right sole of the foot comes to the mat, same thing on the other side. Left ankle crosses over right knee, open up through that left hip, pressing into that left hip a little bit. When you're ready, kick that right heel up off the mat, interlace the fingertips behind your right thigh, maybe extending at the right knee, heel up toward the sky, or maybe keeping that right leg bent, interlacing in front of the right shin. Either way, drawing that leg in closer toward the face, opening up through the hip, using your elbow to gently press into the left thigh. Breathe deep. And when you feel good about it, slowly, gently, mindfully release. Soles of both feet come to the mat, and then together, opening up the legs for a little butterfly pose. My right hand rests gently on the belly, left hand on the heart space. Taking a few moments here just to meditate and relax. I encourage you to take a few minutes of mindful meditation just for yourself, just to stay here in this pose as long as you need after the practice. Keep deepening the breath. Notice what you feel. Quieting the mind, remembering your intention. If it feels good, if it feels right, you can join me in bringing palms together to rest gently at the third eye or on the forehead. I like to take this time to recognize that for many cultures, yoga is a spiritual practice, and we respect and honor that first and foremost. But for all of us, yoga is a community. I thank you so much for letting me lead you in this practice today. I hope you got what you needed here. I hope you enjoyed the scenery, and I definitely hope to see you again soon. Namaste.